Hi folks, we're back for Poetry Thursday and Dr. Jennie has a poem and another dreadful warning.
Indeed I have. Hello everybody. I mentioned Hilaire Belloc in a sort of tangential fashion when I read the Frozen Charlotte poem last week. And now I'm going to read... the Frozen Charlotte poem wasn't by Hilaire Belloc, but the poem I'm going to read is. It's called Matilda, who told lies and was burned to death.
Spoiler.
Thank you. Quiet in the spitters. Matilda, who told lies and was burned to death, by Hilaire Belloc. Matilda told such dreadful lies, it made one gasp and stretch one's eyes. Her aunt, who from her earliest youth had kept a strict regard for truth, attempted to believe Matilda. The effort very nearly killed her, and would have done so, had not she discovered this infirmity. For once, towards the close of day, Matilda, growing tired of play and finding she was left alone, went tiptoe to the telephone and summoned the immediate aid of London's noble fire brigade. Within an hour the gallant band were pouring in from every hand, from Putney, Hackney Downs and Bow. With courage high and hearts aglow, they galloped roaring through the town. Matilda's house is burning down! Inspired by British cheers and loud proceeding from the frenzied crowd, they ran their ladders through a score of windows on the ballroom floor and took peculiar pains to souse the pictures up and down the house, until Matilda's aunt succeeded in showing them they were not needed, and even then she had to pay to get the men to go away. It happened that a few weeks later her aunt was off to the theatre to see that interesting play, The Second Mrs. Tanqueray. She had refused to take her niece to hear this entertaining piece, a deprivation just and wise to punish her for telling lies. That night a fire did break out. You should have heard Matilda shout. You should have heard her scream and bawl and throw the windows up and call to people passing in the street, the rapidly increasing heat encouraging her to obtain their confidence, but all in vain. For every time she shouted fire, they only answered, little liar. And therefore, when her aunt returned, Matilda and the house were burned. I thank you.
Blimey. So don't tell lies.
Don't, because your house will burn down and you in it.
Well, yeah.
Or something. So I was given this as a child of 9 or 10, I suppose. And I loved it. I thought it was so funny. Because it's a parody of Victorian cautionary tales, of which last week's one about Charlotte, poor Charlotte, corpse going to a ball, that's not a parody.
Right.
That's a serious cautionary tale written for the education of the people who think it's a good idea to go out on their sleigh in the middle of a snowstorm and die of cold. But yeah, there's also and the poetry book has illustrations in it as well, and there's a picture of line drawing of Matilda, I think, leaning out of the window trying to get people's attention, which is great. But yeah, it's brutal.
So it's what, Victorian era still?
I think it might be Edwardian. Yeah. I have about my person some notes about Hilaire Belloc. I can't say it. Hilaire Belloc. I better have a drink of water so I can speak properly. So he was born 1870, died 1953.
Oh.
Dad was French and his mother was English, and his mother was a writer and women's activist. He was mainly brought up in England after his dad died, and he was 5 at this point. He was educated at the Oratory School in Edgbaston,
which is in Birmingham.
So I kind of
Near your
embrace
neck of
him.
the woods,
I
yeah,
embrace him as one of mine.
Was I've always thought of him as a Sussex writer,
Yeah.
albeit West Sussex, which
Yeah,
doesn't
the
quite
bad
count.
Sussex.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I was surprised how stern he looks in pictures, given he likes this
He
humorous
looks like
stuff.
right
Though it's not
miserable.
exclusively humorous poems.
No,
obviously.
no. But I think a lot of his output was humour. And he was an MP for Salford for many years, apparently.
Wow.
So, committed Catholic. Chums with G.K. Chesterton.
Oh, that
of
makes sense.
Father Brown fame.
Yeah.
Yeah. An all-round writer of stories to entertain the masses, or the children of the masses. There was. Have you ever seen the story of Struwelpeter?
No,
It's
no.
a German proper cautionary tale.
Right. With that scary figure.
Oh God, it's absolutely terrifying. So Struwelpeter is this dreadfully misbehaving child who refuses to have his hair or fingernails cut. So you get there's a drawing of him with these huge long fingernails and all this hair. And when they finally corner him and cut his nails, they cut his fingers off. And there's a picture of like holding the hands up with blood dripping out of the stump.
They didn't mess about in those days, did they?
Absolutely terrified me when I was a child.
Yeah.
I could not, even a glimpse of that picture, even a glimpse of the one where he's got his hair and nails was terrifying. But the one where there's blood dripping out of his stumps, no.
From the country that brought you Krampus.
Do you think it was Krampus who cut his fingers off?
Well,
So he was a disobedient child.
yeah.
And that wasn't a parody. That was a
proper
thing.
Yeah.
That was a proper
I
cautionary tale.
suppose in the dangerous world of the old days, misbehaving could actually cause you severe damage. So
Cause you severe death.
Frightening the children into compliance might have been a survival strategy.
Might have been, or it might just have been, let's torture the children tonight and read
Stop
them a
them.
cautionary tale so they don't go out in the
Stop
snow.
the reading. Yeah. Okie doke.
Burn their
Good.
aunt's house down. Oh, did you look up to see what the second Mrs. Tanqueray was for?
Only that it was a play. It was a melodrama. Pinero.
Yeah, that's a name I know, but know nothing
Yeah,
of.
no, me either, really. But it's good. Obviously fits the rhyme scheme really well. So
Yes, the interesting play. The second Mrs. Tanqueray. Which immediately
probably more known from being in this poem now than from
probably,
being
yeah.
performed or anything.
But the only Tanqueray I know of is gin, Tanqueray
Oh
gin.
yeah.
Not that I've ever drunk gin. I think it's disgusting. I think it's disgusting in the way that, for me, Earl Grey tea is disgusting. It tastes like the devil's pomade. But I do understand that other people really like it, and I'm not decrying their choice. But to me, it tastes unpleasant. And I don't drink now anyway, so it's immaterial, really.
Right.
Shall we say farewell?
You're going to take
to
your
little
leave?
partners?
Yes.
Thank you for your kind attention, friends. I leave you with my traditional Benny faction. Is that the right word?
Diction.
Benediction. Thank you. In the kitchen. Ta-ra a bit. Mind how you go. Keep out the Oss Road. And I'll said the price of fish.